What are the hidden dangers of investing in altcoins today? Now, this is not exactly a secret, but altcoins are going to be more volatile than Bitcoin. Okay. I trade altcoins. I trade Bitcoin. I am long on Bitcoin. I am long on quite a bit of the altcoins across the board here. And what I got to say about this is yes, altcoins has a higher upside than Bitcoin. Um, during most times. However, they also have a much lower. They have a much um, more downside than Bitcoin as well, as I have seen. Okay, some of these, especially when you go down to the smaller cap altcoins, they're gonna be crazy. Okay, you can expect maybe 30-50% down in a week if you guys traded some of these altcoins. You guys know. Now, with that out of the way, I do just want to talk about Polkadot as well because Polkadot is an altcoin. Okay, however, it is a bigger altcoin. I do think that altcoins in the top 200 by market cap is going to have lower risk, right? I think there's going to be more appropriate time trading these altcoins versus the smaller altcoins. It of course depends on how you trade it as well. Is it with leverage? Is it with spot? Okay. I usually like to trade these bigger altcoins on leverage because they're still not as volatile as some of these smaller altcoins. So I use leverage to, get more upside, right? But that is just me. If you guys have not traded leverage, I highly recommend that you guys get some success in trading spot first and get, the idea of using leverage before heading there. Now, let's talk about Polkadot here. This is going to be important because Polkadot has actually made a very subtle but also a pretty key move here. Okay, what I'm talking about here, let's just do a quick recap. It's on the weekly time frame, and Polkadot still running within this bigger falling wedge pattern that has formed since back in March of last year, broke out of this smaller falling wedge from within the bigger falling wedge pattern here. Price target for this one would be about $10. Now, price targets are estimates only. Very much depends on what Bitcoin does. Okay. Um, and of course, I am long on Bitcoin. I am long on quite a bit of the altcoins here. So my opinion on this market is bullish, but these are just my opinions, like the entirety of this video, and not financial advice. And what I'm seeing here is a price target of about $10 as an estimate. Okay. And since that breakout there, okay, Polkadot has not really been doing too much. It has even went on a little bit of a downtrend, which is not uncommon to see after breakout of a falling wedge pattern, just because of the amount of resistance that is, after the breakout. As you guys are seeing here, quite a bit of weekly moving averages that are resistance. However, Polkadot has actually reclaimed one of those weekly moving averages after a while. Okay, now I'm gonna say reclaimed because we have about 6 more hours left on this weekly candle, and it looks like Polkadot is gonna have a pretty solid candle close above the weekly 21 SMA. That's currently at about $4.13. Next key resistance is going to be the weekly 50 SMA at about almost $5. Okay. And of course, your weekly 200 SMA is going to be about $8. That's going to be very strong resistance. Let's take a look into the daily time frame real quick. Daily time frame, I talked about this. A falling wedge pattern. It actually broke out of it this time, right? Price target, I adjusted for this actual breakout point. It's now about $4.82. It's almost there. It's about 10%. Now, what happens if Polkadot actually hits this price target here? The next key resistance I'll be looking at would be pretty in line with the weekly 50 SMA, but a little bit above that because I see quite a bit of candle rejections here on this weekly time frame. I'm gonna say it's gonna be about $5.40 resistance. Okay, so anywhere from $5 to $5.40. That's gonna be a pretty good resistance for or you know expected resistance for Polkadot here. Now, what happens if Polkadot? So that could also look like a cup and handle pattern as well as this the weekly time frame, and I'm still seeing rounded bottoms on this weekly time frame. Very subtle, very low key, but just because it's boring now doesn't mean that it's gonna stay boring, right? And this could form some type of a cup and handle pattern here, which is a bullish pattern that has a higher chance of breaking to the upside. So quite a few things to be looking out for. Of course, if Polkadot actually manages to break out of this huge falling wedge pattern, the price target, if it breaks out by this point here, would still be about $19 here for Polkadot. Let's see if it hits that. So this basically wraps it up for my update for Polkadot today. Let me know if you guys want to continue seeing any more of DOT or any other coins in this market by dropping a like, comment, subscribe. I'll pick a request to do for you guys on a daily basis. I'll see you on the next one.